Hey everyone, it's Ryan here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about something that I thought was kind of interesting. So I noticed it's been about a year since I've uploaded anything on this channel. Um, there has been some stuff that's happened in the last year. It's just something I haven't really covered. So it's kind of interesting to look back and realize where I started a year ago, what I was making content on, and then also realizing where I'm at now in comparison to where I was then. So in this video, I wanted to talk about, I guess, how we got to where we are right now. So my last video was talking about property management, um, using some of the tasks and tools that I make use of on a daily basis, and honestly now on a weekly basis, to manage remotely even real estate. So it's not entirely remote. I gauge that based off of trips I've taken either out of the country or just within the states, and then if I'm able to accomplish a task from that far away. So a year ago was when I was first getting started. I got my first renewal, honestly, and that's when I felt confident in the live in one half, rent out the other half kind of idea when it comes to housing. Over time, that's helped me significantly reduce my expenses. I've been able to just stack away cash for the next property, but a lot of that also came from the habits that I learned very early on. So this actually rolls all the way back to 2019. So 2019 was very, very influenced and inspired by a lot of financial information I was finding online, content that I was finding online. And the funny thing about it was a lot of it isn't stuff that I rely on now. Learned that a lot of that stuff was fluff. There's not much to it, but it did kind of guide me to the principles that I needed to build on top of. So I've learned about investing on a recurring basis, and did what I could to automate my savings. Through that, I was also employed full time. So I actually came out of high school. I wasn't actually doing much education wise after high school. I just kind of picked up a job at a factory. But at the same time, the one thing I was thinking about is there's a lot of people that were applying for student loans and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, how soon can I get started on this? That's something that always was something I thought of when I was even in high school. I was like, I'm doing all this, I'm spending all my day learning. And there's a lot of valuable stuff you can learn in school, but also at the same time, like, I wanted to try to get income, which is the thing that was able to begin to propel things forward. And so in high school, I started out by just selling phones, buying and selling phones on eBay. That gave me a little bit of side cash, and at the same time, I was working a job. So through those jobs, I kept building savings, investing, trying different ways of investing too. Some of it more risky than others, but I learned through it. Always wanted to control risk, and so from there, I kept working that job from 19 to 20 years old, I think. And I think it was before my 21st that I wanted to buy the duplex. So I had already been employed full time. I actually started as a temporary employee at the a company I worked at. And through that, I was still able to save up money. I got as much overtime as I could, stuff like that. And I know that's not as efficient on the time side of things, but for me in the position I was in, it really helped move the needle forward when it came to savings. Really just being able to stack away. And so um, one of the things I learned through that was also seeing what happened during COVID. So I had built up all these savings, and to see the market take such a dip, but at the same time being able to still continue to invest. Luckily, the job that I was in still had opportunities for work over COVID, and it was stuff that wasn't even. I mean, a lot of stuff that you just need like high school degree for, stuff like that, high school diploma. Sorry, um, it's jobs that weren't really cut out during COVID either. There were a lot of people that were maybe like working at Walmart, and maybe their hours got changed or there were cutbacks and stuff like that on hours. But the work that I was doing, I guess I just kind of got lucky in that there was still work available, still stuff to do. Um, at that time too, I was also just recently licensed as a real estate agent, so I was able to learn about the process of real estate through acquiring my first property. So I had been saving up cash, saving up cash, saving up cash. I got hired full time at the company I was working at, and I had already built up a solid uh, pool of funds for a down payment on a duplex. Right around that time, we also saw rates drop significantly. So we saw rates down at the 3% range. And for myself, it's kind of funny looking back. I was frustrated that when the lender had quoted me, and this is me not even knowing what I was doing because I was so early on in the process, but they had quoted me at a 3.5% interest rate. And the thing I was at 3.25. And by the end of the closing, it was a 3.5 interest rate. And I was like, oh. But at the same time, like, I didn't realize that was not actually that big of a problem. Like I should have been more concerned about just getting the opportunity, getting the deal, because I knew that the rates were good no matter what. It was the best deal that popped up, and it happened to be one that I was able to tour, and everything just seemed to work. There were a couple things that came up during the inspection that kind of threw things off a little bit, but then after that, we were set, and we actually ended up closing over code when everybody was unsure whether or not you should buy, and it was something that I'd gotten into the game with. The funny thing about that is that's what started me testing things out, trying things out, learning all the processes and systems that it takes to run at least one unit of rental. And I mean, I know one unit's not a lot, but it's also still something to manage and something that most people aren't too eager to do. So it was still different than what anybody I knew was doing. The market I was investing in isn't the biggest. It's not a large city. We've got maybe a 40,000 to 60,000 population. So it's not super crazy, but at the same time, I know that there's a lot of opportunities coming here from other areas. So through that process, just kind of staying consistent and disciplined at the work I was doing, something interesting happened too, like being able to take on work as a licensed realtor, helping people buy homes, buy and sell homes. Haven't helped anybody sell a home yet, but I did actually get some experience in the process of being what you would say is a listing agent by a off-the-market deal that happened in the last year, which is super, super cool. So, I mean, there's so many different things that have happened in the last year. All of them would have made a good story, but also there's good learning experience that sums up how far things have gotten since the last video where I was just talking about property management systems. So through staying consistent, I think consistency is one of the biggest things you can do when it comes to learning about investing in real estate. So whether it be getting in touch with people online, following up with agents, doing that on a weekly basis. It's something I'm not the best at, but at the same time, constantly working on growing in that side of things. But I think having accountability too, reaching out to those people, that accountability helps with that consistency too. So just through that process, you end up kind of setting up your bench so that when that opportunity does come, you're ready for it. I think that's something that showed when I had started work as soon as I possibly could, trying to get some sort of job, something that would bring in income right out of high school, and then continuing to build on those abilities, those opportunities by networking with people, getting with people who are doing something that most other people aren't doing. Just kind of getting out of the comfort zone, and I think that really carried things a long way. So I think some of the three things I would sum up from this video that I think I learned in the last year were discipline, consistency, and then also just kind of getting out of the comfort zone. I may have screwed up one of those. Consistency, comfort zone, maybe discipline? Yeah, discipline because you have to follow up, and it's through that network. Maybe I messed that up. No matter what, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I'm always open to talk about anything having to do with real estate, finance. It's been a really, really wild ride. Hoping to bring more content to this channel regarding real estate because there's so much that I've learned in the last year, and honestly so many stories I probably can tell too. Really, really cool experience that not a lot of people have, but the cool thing is there's a growing amount of people that are getting that opportunity. I'll see you guys in the next video.